Hey, welcome to another episode, Simple Life Philosophy. Thanks for tuning in. It is Tuesday, September 11th, man. I'm still doing this. I'm still showing up for myself and my future self, trying to get better every day. It's been a struggle, man. I think a lot of times we're looking for that epiphany moment, that big moment in our life that signals, like, okay, things are changing, things are moving in the right direction. But yeah, life doesn't really work like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that there are those big moments in life, but by and large, man, it's all the small moments that count. It's the small moments that add up, and that amount to something, and that compound into something. Um, and I think when you do have those big moments, if anything, it's going to be a test for you. How do you handle it? How do you handle the big moment, the big contract, or the big promotion, or the great relationship you've been waiting for? You know what I mean? Like it. A lot of times, if you've just been waiting for that moment, you're not going to be ready for it. It's almost like a test. And I think the universe, God, however you want to define it, is constantly testing you, um, because you want change in your heart. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think we all want change and want to improve our lives, especially if you're listening to me. I think you want to improve your life. You want to optimize your life. You want to get better. You want to find fulfillment. You know, you don't want to be empty. And maybe it's one area, or maybe it's all areas in your life that you're kind of looking for improvement. But that improvement is one with the small choices, the small decisions, the small tweaks in your life, and when the big moments happen, if you do all the small things right, I think you'll know how to handle the big moment and know what to do and handle it the right way and approach it the right way. Um, Otherwise, those big moments can be a curse. It's just look, for example, at people that win the lottery. It's a very high percentage of those folks that they end up going broke 3 to 5 years later. And I'm sure it was a bunch of small decisions that led to that. You know, they didn't just blow all that lottery money in one night or in one week. In one big moment. No, it was a lot of small decisions. And yeah, I mean, not to say, it's hard to say, like, how what makes people lucky, you know, um, to even win the lottery. Like, did they deserve that win? And just to lose, and I don't have answers to that question. But because there could be so many, man, that you could go down the spiritual rabbit hole and say, oh, because of past life decisions, you were deserve that lottery win, or because of karma in this life, you deserve that lottery win. Maybe they were just a compulsive gambler and they got lucky. It's hard to say. Or there's corruption involved, right? Like, there's corruption. It seems like in every layer of society, I'm sure, and I know there in past lottery, um, there's been lottery scandals before. So yeah, what puts you in that position? I guess you can't really look at the lottery example because that's an extreme amount of luck. Um, but that's life. I mean, we're all gambling with something. Whether I know gambling is looked at as bad, and it should be, right? I think by and large, they didn't build these big casinos and these sports gambling apps and all these because they're losing money. They're making money. They're making a lot of money off you. You and your fellow people that have that habit of showing up and spending money and gambling that money for the hope of making more money. But when you really look at it, we all gamble. We gamble on jobs. We gamble on investments. We maybe gamble at the casino, or like outright, like directly, at the casino, or with sports gambling. I know that's huge right now, but you have to kind of put up guardrails. I mean, I think when I look at gambling, you have to really look at what you're willing to lose when you make big decisions, whether it's a job change, or placing a bet, an outright bet on something. You almost have to be okay with losing, you know, to really kind of go into it. Now, people say also you have the burn the boats idea, you know, where you don't leave yourself a choice. You know, you burn the boats and you can't go back, you know, and you started this business, you can't go back. And I get that perspective too, because man, if you burn the boats, you're committed 100%. And I think there is a huge advantage to that, a huge advantage to that, especially when it comes to business, because then you're fully in it, and you're gonna that work ethic is gonna be, you know, should be hitting on all levels if you burn the boats and there's no going back. So yeah, I'm kind of talking in circles here because I normally do, and that's what this process is for me. You know, I have a lot of ideas and thoughts and, you know, philosophy, and, you know, there's a lot of competing ideas too. I think that's life. You know, it's the duality of life. It's life. You know, it's just full of paradoxes. You know, and it's just kind of figuring out, you know, what I guess what works for you in the moment, is the best way I can put it, because there's always going to be two ways to look at it. In fact, you can say there's three ways to look at it. But yeah, it's just a matter of perspective and riding. I feel like riding the wave, and just don't. My thing is, especially when it comes to gambling, um, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't ever think that you're gonna win this, because I've been down that road, man. I've gambled in sports. I've gambled in the stock market, and when you make those wins, when you get those wins, man, it does feed your ego. It feeds your ego, and I feel like the universe is kind of testing you. Can you handle this win? You know, and in the past, sometimes I've handled it really well, and sometimes I haven't. You know, it's a mixed bag for me, and that's why I think consistency is so important, because you have to developing consistency and self control is literally probably the biggest. You know, self control and discernment, or consistency, self control, discernment, gratitude. Right now, just kind of coming to mind as like really big pillars to kind of help you in life. Um, yeah, so if you can really develop those skills, and, you know, you can even use AI to help really kind of research how you can improve that. I think you're on your way, and that includes all facets of your life. You know, mind, body, and spirit. You know, mind, you got to be learning. You got to be learning. You got to keep your mind active, reading, writing, learning, keeping up with your business, whatever that is. Body, nutrition, exercising. Spirit, that's prayer, that's gratitude, that's serving yourself and serving others. So yeah, I'll just kind of leave it at that, because again, these videos, I don't know, I could do so much better. I know there's so much more in me, but I'm gonna keep showing up and see where this goes, you know. And I have faith. I'm gonna say I gotta have faith. I have faith that that I'm on the right path and right direction, and universe will kind of reveal the path a little bit more clearly for me. That's what I got to believe in, man, and that's what I have to have faith in, because life is a struggle, and we have to find things that we can hold on to, and I think having faith is a huge one. Having, you know, and that's why I think believing in God is really big, because or having faith in the universe and in faith in God that you're doing what you're supposed to and you're exactly where you're supposed to be is super important. So I'll leave it at that, man. I didn't even realize I went 10 minutes. This is way too long. Probably no one's gonna watch this, but it's all good. I'm still here, still showing up, still posting. Love y'all. Love the world. Many blessings. Peace out. See you next time.